What's up, guys? So I've been spending some time trying to add a one-time subscription fee to my Saas application using Polar. And I figured I should just do a walkthrough video explaining how I'm doing it so that you can implement it on your own Saas application as well. And you can let me know in the comments if you see me doing anything wrong. Alright, so before I demo the product, I just want to give a quick overview of what I'm building. So this is a subscription tracker I built, and you can use it to add your subscription, and it basically tracks what you are spending. And on the last video, I did a detailed breakdown on how I built it. I'll leave a link to that in the description, and it should be showing in the card right now. And on that video, I said I was going to monetize it at some point, and after that video I just decided to start the whole process. So if I go to the analytics now, you see that this particular feature is a pro feature and it needs you to pay for a one-time subscription. So you can see that both payments are secure and one-time only. So I've did a video breakdown on using Paystack. You can let me know if I should do it again in this context. But with Polar, I just have to click pay with Polar. So it's asking for a card number, and I will try to blur out this so you don't see my actual card. All right, so the card number is 42424242. Then I'll just click pay now once I'm done. So you see that we get this confetti and say all pro features are unlocked. Welcome to the club. So if I go back to the analytics tab now, you can see like a analytics of that particular user subscriptions and a yearly projection. So this is just like a little feature I've added before it's going to come out. This would have been much more better. You can also add household plans as well. This has not been implemented yet. I just added UI for it. So now let me walk you through how I got that set up. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to have a Polar account. So you can go to polar.sh. But as you can see, there's a sandbox before the .polar, which means I'm working on a sandbox environment, which means that my payments are for testing only. But you have to create an actual Polar account. So after doing that, you can then head to sandbox.polar.sh, and this has been what I've been using to test it since yesterday. So I'll go to products. All right, so I have a product here, but you can just quickly click on new product. I'm not going to create a new one, but you can just click on new product, then just add a name, set a pricing. So mine is a one-time purchase, yours can be a recurring subscription. But if yours is a one-time package as me, just select that, select a fixed price. So I think you can also add like pay what you want and free and everything. So I just added a fixed price of $5, and that is basically it. So this one just set it to public or private, but I think anyone should work, but I set mine to public. So if I go back to my own right now, so after you do that, it's going to give you let me click on this, a product ID. So you just basically copy that ID. And also I'm using Convex for my database. So Convex have what we call components. I've covered this before, and you can create basically different components on Convex, and someone created a Polar component. So this will basically, if you're using Convex, this will basically make your life more easier, and this is the approach I'll be using. So you can just go to convex.dev/component/polar. Don't worry, the link will be in the description. So the first thing you just have to do is to install this package right here. So if I'm using pnpm, so if you're using pnpm, it's going to be pnpm add, then this command right here. So I will scooch down. This is just a lot of things. I think where should I start it from? So okay, let's just work it from the top, so it'll be much more easier. So like I said, you create a Polar account. Then after you do that, the next thing you have to do is to create an organization, generate an organization token with permissions. So remember, we've first of all created an account. Now we've created the product. So I told you to copy the product ID, so you just copy it down. I'm going to use it in a minute. Then you go to your settings, and on this general tab right here, I will scooch down and you see that I have like a token access. I already have one here. I'm not going to create a new one. So you can create a new token. So if I click on update, now on your case, you have to enter a new token name. And for the scope, you can choose to select all, but for a one-time subscription fee, These are the ones that I selected. So I selected the two checkouts for the read and write, the orders, and basically that's it. But you can choose to select everything. It doesn't really matter. So after doing that, next thing you have to do is to we've already done this part. So you just have to go to your convex.config. So if I go to, let me stop this. So if I go to my convex.config, you will see that I just basically importing the Polar package that we installed, and we're just using it on our Converse application. So after doing that, the next thing you have to do is to set up the organization token. So I didn't cover this, it just escaped my mind. So after, in my case, I click update, but on your own case, after creating, it's going to give you a token. So I'll just go back to my Convex dashboard, and I'm using the test environment, development environment. So on your case, the token should be private to just you. So that will paste it on whatever LLM you use. So just keep it personally for yourself. So in my case, I'll go to my settings tab, then go to environmental variables, and right here, so I called it Polar Organization Token. So just click on add, call it this name, then set it to whatever it is. And also you have to set a Polar server. So mine is currently set to Sandbox, while on my production instance it's set to production. So do well to do this, because if you don't do this, you're going to get an error. So just keep that in mind. Then the next thing we have to do, I think, is just to set up the Polar webhooks. And webhooks are basically used to keep our, in this context, is used to keep our one-time subscription in sync. So in order to do that, you just have to go to back to the sandbox environment and click on webhooks. I already have that set up as well. So this is it right here. So you just click on add endpoints. So I'm just going to click on details. All, you know what, let me just click on add endpoints. You set the name to whatever name you want. Then the URL should be your, so let me go to our environment variable. So if I say .env, okay, so it should be your site URL, which is basically your dev instance. So you can see it right here. If you want to still see it, I think it's on the general tab as well. Yeah, so it's on the authentication tab rather. So convert, so I just copy it and paste it, and it's always going to be on your env file as well. So once you've done that, just paste it here, then end it with the polar /event. So if I scroll down, you see it right here, polar event. So the complete URL will look something like this. Then also you have to enable different events. So for mine, let me go back. So I click on details. So for mine, I just selected the checkout created, the order created, and the order paid. So these are the ones I just select. And again, you can choose to select everything if you want to. So after that, what you just have to do is to copy the Polar Webbook secrets, and just come here and set it to Polar Webbook secret and paste it right here. And I believe that's all about that. So the other things is just to set it up. So I'll go to my code now. So I'll go to my https file. I don't know why this file is not saved though, so I'll just save it. But basically, you just import the Polar instance. And again, before we import this, let me just go to my polar.ts file. So this is where the setup is. So move this one. I don't think I will need this anymore. So let me just close this one out. So what you're just doing is that basically creating a Polar instance and just setting it up and see if the user is authenticated to pay for that particular subscription. So if the user is authenticated, we'll just basically generate a checkout link. And where you're going to use the checkout link is going to be on the UI. So I put it on the ProGate component. So basically, you can see that, okay, I'm initializing a Polar instance using action. So on Convex, when you want to talk to a third party or using a third party API, you use the use action component. So basically, by just targeting the generate checkout link. So if I click on this, so if I click on the generate checkout link, now it's going to directors. I think this is it right here. So this is so this would have been the code would write by hand if the convex polar component didn't exist. So that's why you should use convex, and also this basically makes your life easier. So these are the codes we would have written manually if we wanted to follow the actual process, but I'll get rid of that, and I'm using the generate checkout link. I just added this to right here, but you don't really need them for now. So after doing this, go to our ProGate component. So this is where I'm initializing it. Then I just added a method to check if the method is polar or paystack. So if it's paystack, I already have the one for paystack already. But if it's polar, then you create these objects right here. And on product IDs, you're just basically going to now pass the, if you go to the product, remember I told you to copy a product ID. So just copy that product ID again and paste it right here. Then the origin is going to be your default origin, and once the payment has been completed, it's going to direct you back to your home page with the confetti, and this is just metadata to store the user ID. Okay, so the last thing now is to just call the handle upgrade. So I'm already using it somewhere. So where is it? So handle upgrade now, I passed in paystack. So this one 17 passed in polar. Then if we go back to our HTTPS, so you can see that okay, once we click on that, it's not going to, or rather once the payment has been activated, so you're just going to call this orders was created and basically log out this and run a mutation. So it's going to run a mutation to now activate that user subscription. So if I click on activate pro, so I added this on the my users.ts file that's on my convex folder. So this will basically just update the user subscription to true, and it is going to, and it will only update it to true once this has been hit. So once the order has been created, just going to run the mutation and set it to true and add the payment reference and all. So if I go back to my environment variables and I go back to my data and I go back to my pro status now, you would see that particular user's details with the whole payment reference and everything. So that's why this is enabled right now. So if I delete this one, so let me just delete this one out, and also spend snapshot because it generates this by default. I'll delete it as well. So you see that back now, and convex is real time, so I didn't have to refresh. So we're back to where we were in. So now I can try to like pay again. So if I click on pay polar, all right, so you see it right here, the $5 pro, and also the subtotal. So basically they won't add tax for you by default, depending on the country when you're setting it up, and the tax depends on the country you're setting it up. So I'll click on pay now, and if we go back, you'll see that this will be added once this has been completed. So you can see it right here, and if we go back now, we'll now get the confetti that that user has been subscribed. I think this is a network issue on my end. All right, so you're now seeing the subscription. So now you can see that we are now activated. So if I go to analytics, so we'll see the analytics. If we go to our household, you'll see it right here. All right, so the final thing you have to do is just to go back to your live instance and basically change, or rather if you're using convex, just go to your production environment, and on your what's it called, on your settings, you just have to write the whole environmental variables again, but this time you are updating the token and the webhook secret with your one on your live instance. And I also think you can even use this one on your live instance as well, so you can use it for both. So basically this one is just to test for your test account. And like I said again, so don't always forget to change the polar server to production on your production environment. Alright guys, so that's the size of the video. I'll leave a link to Subtrack on the description. It takes about less than 2 minutes to set up. So go and add your subscriptions and find out what you're actually spending every month, and the number might actually surprise you. If you found the video helpful, do well to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.